Today, I wanted to talk to you about 3 different combos that could save you money and win you some games that are fun, powerful, and interesting. And if you're new or a returning player or just looking for something interesting to spice up your deck, let's get into it. Starting things off in Gruul, we've got Glinthorn Buccaneer and Keen Sense. Now, let me set the table with this combo. Let's say you've got your Glinthorn Buccaneer out, Keen Sense in your hand, and at least 5 other cards in your hand. And you're gonna need at least 3 open mana, 1 green, 1 red, and 1 of any other color, doesn't matter. So you're gonna use the green to cast the Keen Sense, equipping it to Glinthorn Buccaneer. Then you're gonna move to combat and declare attacks and use Glinthorn's ability to discard a card and draw a card. That's gonna trigger your Glinthorn, which is gonna deal a damage to each opponent. And then Keen Sense is gonna see that damage being dealt and draw you a card for each opponent dealt damage this way. So Keen Sense and Glinthorn's ability are gonna resolve, and you're gonna go up to 8 cards in your hand. And assuming Glinthorn lives after combat, which, don't do this unless it's gonna live, so don't attack into like a 10-10, or Death Toucher or something like that. So now with your 8 cards in hand, you're gonna pass the turn and move to your end step. And during your end step, your cleanup phase is gonna happen, and you're gonna have to discard down to your maximum hand size, which is 7. So you're gonna go to discard, Glinthorn's gonna see you discard a card and deal damage to each of your opponents. And then you're gonna draw for each damage you've dealt. Then the game's gonna see that you drew more cards during your end step and move to another cleanup phase, and you're gonna have to discard back down to 7. So you're gonna discard 3 cards, deal that much damage to each opponent, draw again, and then the game's gonna say, hey, you have too many cards, discard some cards. Then you're gonna discard some cards, then you're gonna draw some cards, and so on and so forth, dealing as much damage as you can draw cards. Assuming your opponents aren't at more life than you have cards in your deck, you're just gonna deal them lethal damage right there on the spot. Now, one of the things I like about this combo is not only does it work in Gruul, but it'll also work in Izzet, Grixis, and Temur. As long as you pair Glinthorn Buccaneer with an effect like Keen Sense, the combo will work just the same. Cards like Snake Umbra, Curiosity, Ophidian Eye, and Sleeper's Robe. And as a bonus, you can even use something like Tandem Lookout, which has Soul Bond. So you'll pair this card with Glinthorn, and as long as Tandem Lookout is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to an opponent, draw a card, which is basically the same thing as Keen Sense and as all the other ones I've just mentioned, except for this one is on a body. Now, I want to take a quick second to talk about where these cards slot into. I think this combo fits in best in decks like Abaddon the Despoiler, Shurok Dragon's Claw, and Shishiro the Shattered Blade. In an Abaddon deck, you're probably just going to be casting spells and trying to cascade into your combo. In something like Shurok, you're going to want to be dealing damage and drawing cards off of playing big creatures and dealing damage. And in something like Shishiro, you already have aura and equipment synergies, and he cares about creatures that are equipped or have +1/+1 counters on them. Our next combo is going to be in Mardu colors, and we're going to be using Deathbringer Thoctor, Sunbound, and Vampiric Link. And if you're at all familiar with the Heliod Walking Ballista combo, this should look real familiar to you. So the way this combo is going to work is you're going to need your Deathbringer on the battlefield, and you're going to need to enchant it with Sunbound and Vampiric Link. Once Deathbringer is enchanted, you either need a way to put a +1/+1 counter on it, or you can attack and use the aura's ability to put +1/+1 counters on it once you gain the life. Just make sure that when you attack, your Deathbringer is going to survive the combat. So once it has the counters, you're going to use Deathbringer's ability to remove a counter and deal damage to either creature or player. And then once that damage is dealt, Vampiric Link is going to see the damage being dealt and gain you that life. And then Sunbound is going to trigger and see that you gained life and put that counter back on your Deathbringer. And then you can constantly reuse this ability to machine gun down all the creatures and all the players. Now, it should be noted that this ability won't get around indestructibility, hexproof, shroud, or things with protection from either red or black. Now, what kind of decks does this combo go in? I think something like Gen, Arkham Weaver, or Alicia who smiles at death, the partner pairing of Trina, Champion of Freedom, and Sylvar, Devourer of the Free. And with Gin, if you manage just to stumble into this combo, it'll just be a free win. Or you can set it up more, like say Sunbound and Vampiric Link get removed off of a creature you already had out, and they're just chilling in your graveyard, and you play your Deathbringer, and you have 6 open mana and 2 enchantments that you're not really using. You can sacrifice them to bring back the Sunbound and Vampiric Link, enchanted Deathbringer, and then start the combo loop and just win out of nowhere. And with Trina and Sylvar, you're already going to be in kind of an aristocrat style deck that probably has like a token sub theme. So Deathbringer can just be a value piece that whenever you sack something using your commander's ability also gets bigger and threatens to do some incidental damage here or there. And not to mention that these 2 enchants are just kind of nice throw-ins to have, and most decks in these colors won't hate having them. And then because you're in red and black, you can use either Impulse Draw or some kind of tutor to get these combo pieces out of your deck and then win from there. And last but certainly not least, we've got everybody's favorite color, Mono Green, featuring Ivy Lane Denizen and Herd Baloth. Now the way this combo works is you're going to need your Ivy Lane on the battlefield and enough mana to cast your Herd Baloth. Once the Baloth resolves, Ivy Lane is going to see a new creature enter the battlefield and let you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. You're going to choose the Baloth, and then Baloth's ability is going to trigger that whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, you may create a green beast. So you're going to create the beast token, Ivy Lane is going to see a new creature enter the battlefield, and you're going to put another +1/+1 counter on Herd Baloth. Herd Baloth is going to see that you put a +1/+1 counter on it and create a green beast token. So you're going to make an arbitrarily large Herd Baloth and an arbitrarily large amount of 4/4 green beast creature tokens. Now that we know how the combo works, what kind of decks does this fit into? I think that if your deck or your commander cares about +1/+1 counters, it's worth considering putting this combo in, because you're probably in a creature-based strategy that wants +1/+1 counters, that wants to be attacking, playing cards off the top, and cheating creatures into play using things like shared summons or Uncage the Menagerie, stuff like that. And my personal pick, I think this goes great into something like a Renata deck. And that's it, everybody. I hope you guys like these combos. Drop me a like, ding that bell for notifications, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.